All right, everyone, we're here
We got this thing too.
with double recording on the beach with my man Steven Munson, which is the most hilarious thing because we were chatting on Facebook Messenger like a week ago, and you were in Thailand at the time. I'm like, all right, man, we got to coordinate with this call to do this episode. And you're like, yeah, cool, all good, we'll make it work. And then I'm walking down the beach to go surf, and I see this heel shirt here. I don't know if you can see it. And then I look up, and I'm like, I know that company. And then I look up, I'm like, I know that guy. And here's my man, Steven, in Bali. It's so cool. And this has happened multiple times for me on this trip, where I had somebody lined up, and here was a dog just come over.
Dude, this dog, I swear, has been following me for days. He's just like, please give me a home.
Wow, there we go. That's what happens when you roll live here in Bali. You never know who's going to show up and whose dog will come into your set here. So, dude, it's been a whirlwind. You're the world traveler. Yeah. You've been a digital nomad for however long. I can't wait to dive deep and to hear your story and all the amazing things that are going on.
Good timing. My mom is the one who, like 2 years ago, she goes, you know this guy? Like, he seems super groovy. That was her word.
Groovy. I'm a groovy guy.
And then somehow, like, we linked up, and then we knew we had similar friends. And
yeah, I
was kind of laughing when he was trying to get me to do the podcast from Bangkok, because I'm like, I think I'm gonna go to Bali, but I wasn't sure, and then we ran into each other. So
no, that's awesome, man. And it just kind of shows that in this circuit, you know, people kind of traveling go to the same place. Like Chiang Mai has a big digital nomad scene here in Canggu. There's kind of like this path people kind of follow that are kind of doing what we do.
It's wild.
So how did you get into doing all this, man? Like, you've got an amazing story. I've been following your Facebook Lives. You're like the Facebook Live king over the years, and you've got an amazing story that's gone through some big ups and downs and some unknowns that have always learned to trust the process, you always say, to just follow the path, and it's led you to where you need to be always. So.
Yeah, I think in 2010, I met a guy named Josh, and he said, hey, you ever heard of Tony Robbins? I'm like, no. He gave me a bunch of the tapes, but then he just said, take these home and listen to them. And he goes, hey, I want you to do a webinar for me. This is 2010.
Wow.
Or 2008.
Okay, back in the day.
2008. And he goes, I want you to do a webinar for me, and all you got to do is come there and put a suit and tie on, and have a bright light and introduce me, and I'll give you $100. I'm like, sure, you know, like that sounds easy enough.
Right.
Well, I did that with him for 2 years. I ended up doing these webinars, the whole presentation, 30 minutes long. He'd pay me about $1,000 a week. It was about 1 hour a week work. And then we were on Craigslist, like sending leads to this thing, and you know, I got this lifestyle going on, and then the company sold, and then I was just like, what am I going to do with my life?
Yeah,
so at that time, I was still partying, you know, my life, 16 years, drug and alcohol addiction. I had countless tragedies. My grandfather died in a plane crash. My brother died from a drug overdose. In my 20s, when I was 20 years old, I owned a bar in my hometown. It was crazy, called Pineapple Point. You know, the reason we got busy was girls dancing on the bar.
Yeah.
And, you know, every night there was a line outside the door. When there's a lot of things that I learned then that you can use now. Like, if you can't come in, if there's access, people want access, and they'll pay more for access, right?
Right, yeah.
And I just was, you know, an entrepreneur since I was young, but I made a lot of bad decisions that were painful, you know. And when you go through struggle, you can keep making a bad decision over and over and over again. I had 10 years of being broke, sleeping on couches, cashing in coins, you know, hopeless, struggling in every sense of the word. And one of the big shifts for me was when I met Dave Sharpe. In person in Hawaii, and he said, hey, what's your story? And I kind of crumbled a little bit, because I looked up to him.
Right, yeah.
And I got insecure of what is my story.
Right, yeah.
And I didn't really tell him. I kind of held back, but I lived there in Hawaii, so give it a chance, you know. He's like, dude, who are you? You live here?
Right.
And it took him about 10 minutes, and he like I go, man, you know what? I was just like you as a drug addict, and I'm trying to get clean, and I live here in Hawaii. He's like, do you tell anyone that? He's like, never.
Yeah,
why?
Right.
That's pain and pleasure. I go, I don't want to tell people that I was a drug addict, because what if I start using again?
Right, yeah.
And he said, if you don't tell people, you're always going to be a drug addict.
Wow.
You'll stay that in your mind and physically, because you need to own the transformation of it. So that was where my life shifted from like, I'm okay to tell people.
Right, yeah.
And I did that just kind of like this, but in Hawaii, I grabbed my phone and I just started to like tell people like, hey, you know, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And I got messages. Thank you.
Wow.
I needed to hear that. I'm taking pills and I never told anybody.
Right.
All these types of messages. And the one big thing, when I watched Brene Brown TED Talks, which my mom's like, hey, that guy's on TED Talks, you know, you.
Right.
And she does an 18-minute TED Talks. You got to go watch it, The Power of Vulnerability, because all the time when people come to me like, hey, how do you make money marketing, or how do you travel the world, you got to learn how to tell your story.
Yeah.
And through vulnerability, because that's where you connect with other humans.
Yeah.
So when I saw her, I was like, wow, I can be Steven and people will connect with it. It's actually cool.
Yeah. Well, I think people are starved for real, authentic, just realness.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of hiding behind their Instagram filters of like this picture perfect life.
Yeah.
And people are just inundated with that. But when someone comes out and says, "Hey, this is what I'm going through," and it's just such a pattern interrupt, because no one's really doing that and putting airing their dirty laundry, as they say. But that's what makes people really relate to you, get to know, like, and trust you more, because you are just real. You're not hiding behind some facade and trying to be something that you're not. You're just saying, hey, this is me. I'm human. These are the mistakes I made. These are the challenges I went through or am still going through. And it just makes you really relatable, and people can be like, well, I can relate to that because secretly I'm doing this or that. Like, where people then open up to you, right? So that's awesome, man. So congrats on that. And yeah, Dave Sharpe, he is a very successful, brilliant entrepreneur, and he's done well sharing his story of struggle through addiction and putting all of his past traumas and hardships out in the public. And that's what really made people like yourself want to follow him. And it's just like the ripple effect, man. So you've made a big splash.
It was powerful.
Yeah.
He helped me a lot. I ended up working for him. I was his like coach for 3 months.
Okay.
He saw, you know, and I think it's important always, if you see talent in somebody, you got to like pull it out of them.
Yeah, right.
You know, I think it's our duty as humans. Like, if you see something inside of somebody and they're struggling, you pull out that strength.
Right.
Because all of a sudden he gave me that just enough confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not an idiot, right? I have something, but I care more about partying and girls and gambling. And I mean, it's hard, right?
Don't we all?
Yeah, I love the girls and then partying. And like traveling was always part of that root addiction, because when I would spend the money, I would want to go somewhere, you know, go to the Bahamas and spend everything I got. And so there was that traveling seed. But I worked for Dave for 3 months as his coach, and I helped him get into peak performance, like before his last job. And he got super, you know, it was amazing, or for his last event in Miami with Ian. And then after that, I went to Hawaii, and we kind of had this moment in a cigar shop, and it was like, am I going to go with him and work for him forever?
Right.
But inside of me, there was something like, go to Hawaii, and I'm so grateful that I did.
Right.
I took a trip there. Had I not, my best friend died. He was my age, 34. The strongest physically and highly energetic person. Like, we'll show a photo to everybody, because you're like, this guy died of cancer, surfs every day, runs every day, died of cancer so fast. And when I watched it, it ripped my heart out, you know, because I was like, dude, that could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
And after that, I went through this dark, traumatic, I had all this resentment and bitterness and like pain, and I didn't want to talk to, I was depressed for the first time. You know, it was just weird. Like, it was just dark. I've been dealing with death of young people for a long time, but this one was different, because all of a sudden I finally felt alone in myself, and like, are you gonna do what you want to do with your life, or are you just gonna like play games?
Sure, yeah.
And I got mad at myself to this point of like, I got to get serious about life. And that's when I went through this real dark season. I got super sick. I was all of a sudden highly allergic to foods, bananas, strawberries, black pepper, garlic, weird things.
Wow.
I was, my whole body had inflammation. So I'm like trying to do videos and I'm embarrassed. And it was just this dark moment. And all I was trying to do was launch Heal.
Yeah.
So when he reached out to me, Jared, he said, hey, I'm sick. And I'm like, oh, it's meant to be with Heal, and this first person dies. So it was crazy, but that struggle, that pain is what made me unstoppable in this pursuit.
That's heavy, man, because I've watched your journey of launching this new company and just going through the whole processes and living in Thailand, like if you want to get into that, like how you ended up there, meeting this doctor and creating this product that was like never really released before, and just all the testimonials and stuff from that, and getting affiliates on board. Like, it's been quite the process. I've been following your journey. I'm like, man, this guy is definitely leading with focus and where he wants to go, but just having this blind faith of like, now I'm in Bali because my passport in Thailand or your visa, like just like these curveballs life throws at you. And so that's interesting to hear. That's how this kind of birthed with your company. If you want to kind of share about how that started with getting set up in Thailand, like that's a story in itself.
I think that's why I shared that part of it, because in 2014 I started a corporation. I had Dave as a mentor. I spent 4 years straight, $250,000, all my time, all my focus, and I ended up with nothing.
Wow.
And
Where did the $250,000 come from? Like savings?
I had money that would come in from other affiliate companies that would just trickle. And at first I had a lot, $100,000, and it went fast. Making systems you can lose money. Trying to please people is a big problem that everyone does. They want to make a company or concept that pleases their friends. It's got to make sense. So I started losing all this money, and I got to this point in 2016 where I was at Vail Resorts with my mom, living in employee housing, working as a busboy, $10 an hour. And I remember the day like it was yesterday. I bought a ClickFunnels account, and I said, I got to figure this out. I didn't even have the dollar for the trial. I had to cash in coins. I got one. Luckily, I got a few members that paid $10 a month. I made $27,000 with that, and I kept going. That's when I won this laptop from Tai Lopez. Oh wow! So it's like stringing me in, and I'm like, I got to get out of here, and I'm stuck. I started a nonprofit for Heal because I didn't think it was going to be a business. We adopted a family who lost their home in a hurricane, like 60 of us. Wow! Then that was right after that. I just said, I got to go to Portugal. I went there to meet a friend, Silvio, to help them make a marketing system in English. And I really wanted to stay with these guys, but something inside of me said, you gotta go further. There's something there.
That was through Amazon or something, right?
They were doing it with Jeunesse. They made a big marketing system with them. And it was just great people. So I was like, they're great people, Why would I leave here? And I had no money, just a little coming in. And I went to Budapest. I made the hardest decision of my life. I had, I think it was a Monday. I got paid $500. And I remember seeing Jabril's video like that day about Bangkok. And I was like, I went on the Nomad list. And I swear at that point it was #1 on the list. I was like, dude, you should go there. So I look at the ticket, and the ticket's like $700. I only have $500, so I find 2 one-ways that are like $500. Wow. So I literally spent every dollar I have. I didn't even have enough for my luggage. My friend Nicole paid for my luggage.
I remember seeing this post, too.
Like, my phone got shut off the month before. But this is the thing. I wasn't nervous because I understand how to make a business on my computer. But I also felt like I got to figure something out. This has got too far.
Sustainable.
I landed in Bangkok with $1.71 in my bank account. I went up to this building where Jabril shot his video, and I'm there, and like the sun's setting. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm on Facebook Live, and Lisa Grossman sends me a message out of nowhere and says, hey, if you're in Thailand, we have a condo there, you should stay in it. I'm like, how do you even know I'm in Thailand?
Wow.
And her condo happens to be next to this mall. 7 days later, I go into this mall, I see a sign on the door that says Asian Phytoceutical Publicly Traded Company. I said, plants? I walk in, I'm on a Facebook Live, I buy product, it's on a list, because it just drew me. That's why I shared with you how sick I was, because for 3 years I was scared of what I was going to eat and struggling with inflammation stuff, and I bought this product. This guy came up to me. He said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Can I interview you sometime?" It was awkward because I'm like literally like this on Facebook Live, and man, little did I know he was the CEO of a 40-year-old publicly traded company that had made a 5-ingredient plant-based product that helped people, with their immune system. I never thought my immune system was the reason I was sick. I tried a lot of things, everything. It helped me, I could tell, in 5 days because I had a real bad detox. And the next day I felt calm. The first day I ever felt calm with health. All you want to feel is nothing. Calm. Because people sometimes take a health product and they're like, I don't have the energy. You just want to feel calm because energy comes out of that space. And long story short, they said, we don't know how to market this product anywhere. And I said, maybe I could sell it. And I sent a box to America. And we literally had no money, no website, no affiliate links, nothing. Since then, we, within the first 9 months, did over 550,000 in sales. Paid affiliates over 150,000.
Wow.
Did it without a list, without traffic, without marketing, without a budget.
Just guerrilla marketing, just guerrilla hustle.
Just grinding, like
guerrilla grinding.
And I kind of was stuck in Thailand in a way. Because I didn't have a lot of money, but
there's some dogs going at it behind us if you're wondering what that is.
I just stayed put, and I showed up in the office every day to give proximity is power. In relationships, proximity is the key to relationships.
For sure.
Presence, proximity. Like if you're not there with your wife, with your husband, with your best friends, there's something different being there. So I stayed in that office. I was the first one in, the last one out. I worked and I made something happen, and
just hustling.
It became a life of its own.
Well, that's amazing. From literally not enough money for a $1 free trial for the ClickFunnels account to putting $500,000 through that funnel, or just all your efforts involved combined, is amazing in a year.
Less than it. The biggest thing is, I won't say the name of the company, but there's a company that just last week made an offer. It's a 7-figure offer.
Wow.
Plus a long-term royalty.
Wow.
For distributing the product. They want to take over it, but I've said no.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why. I'm not rich in the sense of I have unlimited money, but I have enough to live every single day. But I don't need money. What I need is something long term, something that lasts. And that's why I created Heal, because what I kept seeing is all the time a company would come up and you hear so much about it, then it's gone. And I'm like, dude, I can't do this anymore. I want something that's strong, a foundation. It doesn't have to be hypey, schemey, just something that lasts. So that was my vision in the beginning, like health, wealth, love, happiness, an affiliate thing that lasts, that paid affiliates on t-shirts, or events, because we understand it wasn't always like that.
For sure.
We get momentum and then we're like, God, why did you guys do that? So it's been, and I just came here because the one door closed and a new door opened. I had been in Thailand for 1 year. Okay, so I was supposed to be there 7 days. 1 year I was there. I can relate to that. Every month I leave for 2 days. I go to some other paradise place.
So they only have a month visa.
It's a month visa. You come back, and I thought it was cool. 12 months later, the last time they stopped me and said, "Hey, you're not a tourist." I'm like, "I'm definitely a tourist." You don't look like a tourist. I'm like, really? What do you mean? What's a tourist look like?
You got your camera there. You're walking around.
I go, look at my phone. Look at my phone. She's like, "Now you got a Thai girlfriend." And I'm like, "No, I don't have a Thai girlfriend. Like, I love this place. It's my favorite place." And they kind of like, they hustled me a little bit. Like, she goes, you're going to have to go, we're detaining you. And I'm like,
wow.
All right, this is weird. The supervisor came in and he's like, so you want to come in? I was like, yeah, I want to come in. In the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, I got a condo. I've got an office there. I got to get in there. I got all my stuff on this thing. Like, I got this relationship with this company.
Right,
like, so I'm playing it cool. Yeah, I want to get in. He's like, all right, take out everything you have and put it all on the table. Fill out this form. And so I take everything out, and he's like, everything. I'm like, is he, like, I don't have any drugs or anything. He wanted me to put my money on the table and every credit card I had. This is in the airport. So he's like, all right, well, I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to talk to the head guy. I don't even think he talked to anybody.
Yeah.
He comes back, he shows me his phone, and it says he has to pay a fine. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. How much? He's like, 10,000 baht, okay? And I'm thinking, that's, that's a lot, Thailand. That's a lot for anybody, really, $300-400. I'm thinking, all right.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Right.
I said, this is my chance. Just pay $300.
Yeah.
Get in the zone. You got 30 days to do anything you need to do, and then you leave for a while, because she said you need to leave for 2 months before you come back, and we'll give you a regular stamp, or you get an elite visa, which is 15 grand. And I'm like, I could go live in Bali for 6 months for 15 grand. I'd rather use it on Facebook traffic, right?
Right, yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm not paying the 15,000. And that's why I'm here right now. Though.
Wow, that's
so
crazy.
I just came here, and then I see this guy in the street.
Walking down my surfboard.
Like, hey, let's do that podcast.
That's so crazy. That's a story and a half. So your office is still going in Bangkok. You kept everything there. You're just coming here for a couple months, and then you'll be going back, you think?
Yeah, business is actually growing, because I think why it took off was people love traveling. And see, what I did is I showed a different side of traveling. I'm not on a vacation.
Right.
I'm not going to this honeymoon spot and then going home to work.
Yeah.
I'm living, traveling, and showing people.
Right.
And I take a little bit different stance on it. Nothing against a hostel or backpacking or freelancers or anything, because I've worked every kind of job to make it. But for me, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to have enough money that I could stay in any place or go to any location. And I think people can do that when they understand it. It's about 3 things. And those 3 things, when I learned this a little while back, I was like, this book called Impossible to Ignore, you got to read it.
I haven't even heard of that.
It's so good. Now, this is a concept I think was introduced in the 90s, but the 3 things are content, community, and commerce. So what I did is, I didn't recognize this until I looked back and said, I'm always putting out content.
Yeah.
I made a great community where I genuinely want to help you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Right.
And then there was the commerce, like, how do you monetize this?
Sure, right.
And so if you nail those 3, you could do anything that you're passionate about, but if you're missing those, you're struggling with it. And so I came to this digital nomad capital of the world.
Yeah.
Last month I wrote like a book. It was one of those space called Digital Nomad Success. Okay. And I laid out how to be successful in it in 4 weeks. Cool. And then I put it on a course that people could have. And then I didn't release it yet, just till recently. I said, why not come to this place and really feel it, the experience of like this.
Sure.
Like we're on the beach doing a podcast.
Living it. Living it. I think that I can definitely plug you into some good communities here. There's the dojo that you already know, but there's a men's group. They do Mentorship Mondays. Yeah. Really good group of about 20 to 25 men. Awesome. Every Monday they meet, 6 o'clock. And that has just been an incredible network to plug into here. Yeah, so I'll connect you with some guys here, because that's just, everyone here is doing the same thing, doing the laptop lifestyle thing. My man Brian Swan lives right behind it here. I've got a surfboard here, and you talked about David Sharpe being kind of like the guy to kind of give you the, hey, you can do this too. Well, Brian was that guy for me back in 2007 when I saw him traveling the world, surfing the world's best waves. I'm like, I want to do what this guy's doing. Yeah. And he took me under his wing, and we've been like super close friends for 12 years, and it's just so cool to like be here hanging out with him for the past month and meeting so many cool guys like yourself and Jabril and just like the whole crew of people here. Evan was here. I was out with him last night, Clausen. So there's like this path, like we said in the beginning, of people kind of going the same places, and you connect with like-minded people when you kind of do things outside the box.
Yeah.
And it's just been so rad to follow your online adventures through your world travelers. Like you always say, Stephen Munson, world traveler at the end of your post, and I'm like, man, this guy's doing it right, and I could relate to a lot of what you've been through, the highs and the lows, as you know, what goes on certain islands around here. It's you got to be careful, you know. Like when you're in other places, you gotta, you know, you pay the price sometimes. Sometimes it's airport scams coming in, visas, or just getting, like I had $200 stolen when I was surfing a couple days ago from my wallet. There's a lot of stuff that goes on, so just be aware of your surroundings, but always know that people are generally good everywhere you go.
Yeah.
There's people that you know, you just have to be aware of, but everywhere I've been in like almost 40 countries, and it's been enough to write a book about.
Yeah,
and,
you should.
And I am, for sure, because there's been a lot of life lessons learned, and some good, some bad, but always growth comes from those. But man,
that's funny, because this is actually how this started. I was writing a book. I wasn't, you know, the whole reason I left.
Right.
I packed up my bag and wow, it's almost 2 years ago. And I said, I'm selling everything to write a book, and I'm going to take a train across America.
Wow.
And the book is called It's Worth It. And that title came to me because I said, think about just do it. Anyone would actually do it if they knew that it was worth it on the other side. So it was like with business or with being sober or whatever it is. So this book, and I'm like, I'm gonna go on the It's Worth It tour. Yeah. So it's funny, you know, because like even in Thailand, like that whole year is only like a chapter of a book.
Right.
You know, so sometimes
it's
when you think about a book,
now.
like it's not done. You know, you got to write that book through living your life. And that's why I like to tell people is to build your personal brand. No matter what company you're marketing, everyone has a personal brand. If you think about Michael Jordan, or you think about anyone you like or don't like, they have some sort of personal brand, and that's why, like the Unstoppable Family, you know, and it's just like the personal branding, the world traveler. Why I said that is, I said, what do you really want to do? I just want to travel the world, and I want to be healthy. I want to help people and have fun. Yeah. So I just said, you know, I'm sure there's other world travelers out there, but you could be anybody. Like you could say what you want, you know, claim it and then live it, and people will attract you because everyone's like introduce you as the world traveler. Like, it kind of works.
That's an interesting, talking point right away. Like, oh, travel. What do you do? Where have you been? Yeah, it's cool, man. It's very cool. And going back full circle about. I just totally forgot what I was going to say. I was going to make a point to come back to it, and I just totally forgot about what I was going to say. That's okay.
I love how when Les Brown, I heard him once, he said, never tell a story without making a point, and never make a point without telling a story. That's the key to... the other thing he said is when you take the easy road in life, you're going to live the hard life. And if you take the hard road in life, you're going to live the easy life.
I remember what I was going to say, and that's a very good point. I saw Les Brown in Europe, in Italy. I was with the Swans. We went to an event, a conference there with him, and he's a great speaker, really motivational guy. I was going to ask you about your sobriety. So traveling and stuff like that, when you're in places like the Gili Islands or Bali, how's that been? Because I've been here a month, and actually the interesting thing is that it's Mentorship Monday with this men's group. About 26 out of the 30 guys there don't drink, which was really surprising. And these are all like high-performing, you know, entrepreneurs or health wellness coaches, just whatever, digital nomads. I'm surprised how many people here don't drink because they're just so dialed into themselves and their best version of themselves. So is that something that you made a conscious effort about, or it was just kind of like, my life is unmanageable how it is, I need to make some changes? And what's that process been like? There's a number of people that have been on the show actually don't drink, and they had a...
For me, the point when I stopped was so clear, and there's a cool video I make about this. I was, since 16 years, drug addict, alcoholic, struggled with it. I mean, my brother died from a drug overdose, so there's enough pain there. Yeah. But anyhow, I walked into an event. I worked for the Tony Robbins organization for a while, but and Dave Sharpe and Paulo Barroso went to an event in New York. And a Friday night, we went to a place called No Fun. It was the most fun time ever. Dave's sober, been sober. He's having the most fun though, and he's sober. Me and Paulo are drinking a lot. The next morning we go into the event. We're in the front row. Tony Robbins is like literally, you know, he's like your size, huge. This guy's massive, and like he's like his hand like comes out like this, like right towards me, but he's looking the other way. He goes, "You have a limiting belief that shapes your life, and if you don't change it, it'll destroy you." And I was like, I sit down, I'm like, I got a drink to have fun, I got a drink to be loved.
Wow.
And it just hit me like, but it's weird because he would always say this, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh. I walk outside, I sit down, I'm hungover, okay? I even have a video of the very last drink I ever had. It's like a flaming whiskey with Paulo Barossa.
Wow.
Like, weird enough, right? So I like go outside, I sit down, and I'm like, close my eyes, I start like kind of almost crying or something, and have like a dream. I wake up and I'm like, I text Dave, I go, I'm done drinking.
Wow.
And that decision is why he hired me.
Wow.
And he flew me to Tampa. The best job you've ever had in your life. Wow. I paid a lot of money, worked with a great person. But it was that decision, because he saw the next 2 days, like, dude, he's not joking. Yeah. And I never needed it again, you know. But I understand the I want to stop thing, because I did that so many times. But it was that moment that I shifted. There was a lot of moments where I was like, I don't even know how to connect with people anymore.
Right. I don't think a lot of people do.
I don't know how to socialize. I don't know how to, and when I was highly allergic to foods, I couldn't even eat out, you know, so dating, like, I don't drink, and I can't eat any of these things. So it's like, you know, this weird thing I've had to just learn over time, and that's why I've immersed into business of service and lifting people up and making content, because in some realms, like making a video I found that ability to become myself without fear of judging myself.
Sure, yeah.
Because if you sit with another person, and let's say they're drinking or not, for years, I just feel weird, straight up, because I was addicted to Xanax. I had to take a Xanax to go out, or I did cocaine, and I mean, I'm not scared about saying it. That's how, you know, I was getting wasted, and that's how I socialize. And when you stop, when I started to connect with videos and writing, because I was dyslexic. I didn't know how to write content. Dave Sharpe was one of the first. He said, you market like a teenager in stress. It's like, gosh, dude, like, wow. I look at I did. Yeah. I was too worried about what people thought about me, and I was wanting people to please others. Sure. That's why I did it. So I got sober, and then, you know, I went to the Gili Islands a year ago for 3 weeks. If you've ever been there, go there. It's an experience of a lifetime, but I was doing water shots because, you know, I'd go out there and the bartenders knew, my friend knew, and then it was, the only thing I always noticed is other people felt weird and I didn't. Right. It's like, why? Yeah. And I don't want someone else to feel weird because they're drinking, or to think, oh, I can't drink Stevens here. Right. So over time, it's just become this vibrant power that I have. And, you know, I wanted to be, you know, I want to be an asset, not a liability. I want to be able to help others, not need to be helped. You know, I don't want to get arrested again or have to get bailed out of jail, you know? Like,
that's not a good way to start any night or day.
We used to say good friends, bad decisions.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of bad decisions.
Well, that's what I've noticed too since I've stopped. I've been sober for 2 years, and I'll go and have a drink now and then, a glass of wine here or there. But being sober, my bad decisions have decreased dramatically. Like I'm not finding myself for the most part in these, like, oh my God, like what happened? Why am I in this situation anymore? So yeah, it's definitely less stress, less drama, and more health and meaning and real connections, not just these drunk drinking buddies and stuff, you know, like it's collaborating and connecting with people on a deeper level. So it's just been an honor, man, to run into you here. I'm glad that we had the synchronicity to walk down the same street at the exact same time coming to the beach, and I'm like, thanks for wearing that shirt, because that's what got my attention right away. And then,
I wear it every day, because the girl in the dojo, she goes, did you sleep here last night? I go, I know, and she probably thought that he's wearing the same exact outfit.
That's funny, man. Well, look, all the best. How can people kind of connect with you and what you're doing, follow your journey on your world travels?
Just Instagram at worldtraveler.io.
Yeah.
It's probably the easiest way. Just go there. Instagram at worldtraveler.io. Stephen Munson on Facebook, and
I'll have those links below here in the show notes. So guys, you can hear the passion and just the liveliness in his voice. And if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, you can just see he's just full of energy, and just you have a really strong presence about yourself that I've seen through video.
Yeah.
And now seeing it just in yourself, and just like I feel very balanced aura coming from you, like just like kind of like a zened out, like you're a guy who knows who he is, knows where he's going. Might not know how to get there, but you know that you're on the path.
That's right.
So I think that's been a good.
And that's who we are.
Yeah.
And I think that's the last word of encouragement. Like, when I stopped feeling like I had to control everything, like I gotta control how much money I'm gonna make, who's gonna like me, where I'm gonna end up, how, and I just started to like be there now. It's like, wow, you will project so fast, because it's like the story of the bamboo tree that you don't see any growth for 5 years, and then all of a sudden it just shoots up. And that's how I think all of us are sitting there waiting just to shoot up and have that magical, powerful moment. So
I feel that you're kind of getting a little teary-eyed and emotional here. That kind of spoke to you, I think, because it's been a journey, and there's been a lot of pain and suffering and things to overcome. So
it's all the pain, you know, because the pain is so worth it.
Yeah.
But it does take that endurance, because you know, when I have a heart for people is I see them in struggle of poverty because they're broke, and I never really want to talk about making money for marketing. But then I realized, like, somebody actually, that's so stressful.
Yeah.
And stress is what creates all the disease, and then it leads. So I was like, if I could help someone make an extra $1,000 a month, like legitimately, that's powerful. And because I always wanted to talk about health or mindfulness and personal development. And then I said, you know what? I want a transformation that's tangible. So someone could look at their daughter or son and be like, hey, look, I'm going to make a better life for you, and have confidence. So it took a while to get there, because, you know, a guy like me, you live a kind of life, and you can, most of you can relate. All of a sudden you change, and then you go big time public. Look, your friends, they're not going to love that. They're going to let you. I've had to, like, this last year, block 10 of my closest friends. Just block them, because I said, look, if I see you in person, we'll be friends. But you're not in this world with me. So I can't worry about what they say. I just got to go 100% on the people that need and want it, because I want to help you. I want to help people live here. If you want to go to Bali, like, it is, I landed in Bangkok with $1.71. It's $1 in a dream. I had the dream. It was more powerful than the problems. I always said, when people said, how'd you get sober? I said, I worked hard on myself, not on my job. I found a project that was bigger than my problem. You know, and I just love God first, and I just said, here it is. I'm going to be the best I can. I'm not going to worry about anything else. And whatever happens will work out, and it did.
And one thing I got to credit you for, I remember watching some of your Facebook Lives when you're literally there just reading some Bible verses.
Yeah, you know, I never did that. That was hard.
That's quite the testimony of just like your faith and everything. So. I see that we're almost out of battery here. I don't want to lose this video because it's down to like a couple percent. But I just want to say, guys, definitely connect and follow what Stephen's doing here. Super inspiring guy. You have an incredible story. And I'm just so stoked that I got to connect with you before I leave.
This spot too.
This is it. This is it right here. This is what it's all about. Living where you want and making a lifestyle design around the freedom to do so. Like you've done, going from $1 in a dream to now being here with this incredible company, and the ripple effect that you've created is just phenomenal, man.
Thanks for having me. Brother.
Absolutely, guys. So as always, if this spoke to you, share it with a friend, maybe someone that's kind of needing that inspiration or motivation to start that project or overcome the challenge that they're experiencing. Share this. And as always, subscribe. Next episode's coming out soon. We'll see you there. Peace from Bali.